in the General Court of Justice, Superior Court Division, and then it just repeats the case number. State of North Carolina, County of Mecklenburg. Team Conti LLC, plaintiff, v. Kenneth Byron, doing business as RYCOmotorsports.com and RYCOmotorsports.com / iRacing setup shop. Defendant. Complaint. Jury trial demanded. Plaintiff Team Conti LLC, or Team Conti, complaining of defendant Kenneth Byron, doing business under the fictitious names RYCOmotorsports.com and RYCOmotorsports.com / iRacing setup shop, collectively RYCO, alleges as follows. Introduction. This case is about Byron purchasing Team Conti's products under false pretenses to benefit his own competitor business, RYCO. Both Team Conti and RYCO are setup builders for... I've already lost my spot. You can share it right now. Yeah, I'll still be looking at chat. I won't be able to read it 31 pages straight. Yeah, share whatever you like. We'll just start here at number 2 again. 2. Both Team Conti and RYCO are setup builders for competitive cars in the eNASCAR scene. Both teams sponsor skilled racers who race under their respective brands. When those racers win, it drives business to the setup brand. 3. As Team Conti has recently discovered since December 2023, Byron has used an account on Team Conti's website under the false identity of Owen Morgan to purchase and access Team Conti's weekly release setups and benchmark data. Using a real-world analogy, Byron's acts are the equivalent of one NASCAR team builder sneaking into another team's garage to peek under the hood of the vehicle before scheduled races. 4. Byron's illicit access to Team Conti's weekly setup releases and Team Conti's benchmark times provides RYCO with a massive, unfair competitive advantage. Knowing that Team Conti would never knowingly sell its products to a direct competitor, Byron took numerous steps to conceal his identity, including using a VPN to mask his IP address, using prepaid Visa cards with a falsified billing address, and making direct false statements to Team Conti. It seems, I don't know if they would do that. I feel like if they ever went that route, they would just hire people and go in-house. I don't think they'd contract it out. But it would be the same path to do that, basically. I think they'll do something like that, but just it'll be in-house. As if they do that. I'm not sure if they'll do it, but I just maybe it's not like I think it'll happen. I think it just won't surprise me if it happens. Where were we? Number 6. Team Conti began an investigation into Byron's... Am I saying that correctly? It's Byron. Like William Byron. Just spelled differently. Into Byron's potential misuse of the site in June 2026 after Byron made suspicious statements suggesting he had direct access to Team Conti setups. Through that investigation, Team Conti found substantial evidence linking Byron to the Owen Morgan accounts. For instance... A. On numerous occasions, the Owen Morgan account downloaded Team Conti setups through a static IP address located in Wesley Chapel, Florida, where Byron lives. B. The Owen Morgan account downloaded setups from an IP address in Blue Ridge, Georgia, per Byron and his wife's public social media posts. They were vacationing at Blue Ridge from November 22nd, 2025 to November 29th, 2025. C. On November 30th, 2025, the day after the Byron family returned from Blue Ridge to Florida, the Owen Morgan account resumed downloading setups through a Florida IP address. And D. Since Team Conti began investigating the issue in late June 2026, On at least 3 separate occasions, Byron logged into his iRacing account within 1 to 3 minutes of Owen Morgan making a corresponding download of that week's release setups. Seven. Furthermore, in July and August 2026, an Informant Driver who drives under the RYCO brand reached out on his own volition to Team Conti's owner, Michael Conti, stating that he believed RYCO was copying Team Conti setups. After Team Conti terminated Owen Morgan's access to the site on August 16, 2026, that informant confirmed that Byron did not provide benchmark times for RYCO's in-house testing that week, which Byron would normally have received from Team Conti's setups. Upon information and belief, Byron is directly incorporating Team Conti's weekly setup releases into his own releases and reselling them under his own brand. 8. Team Conti files this lawsuit to hold Byron accountable for his fraudulent and malicious acts in purchasing Team Conti's products under false pretenses and leveraging those products to benefit his own brand. Parties and jurisdiction. 9. Team Conti is a limited liability company organized under the laws of North Carolina. 25 to life. Well, it's a civil case. No one's going to jail. If it ever went to trial, well, even if it's settled, someone would be paying up. Team Conti's principal place of business is in Charlotte, North Carolina. 10. Kenneth Byron is an individual who lives in Wesley Chapel, Florida. 11. On December 18th, 2023, Byron created a user account on Team Conti's website using the fake alias Owen Morgan. When creating the user account, Byron accepted Team Conti's terms of service, which included a provision stating that the user, quote, consents to the exclusive jurisdiction and venue of courts in North Carolina and all disputes arising out of or relating to the use of the site. 12. On August 17th, 2026, this was 4 days ago, after Team Conti revoked access to the Owen Morgan account, Byron created another user account on Team Conti's website under the fake alias Dmitry Dzhumatov. When creating the second fake account, Byron accepted the Team Conti's terms of service, again consenting to jurisdiction in North Carolina. That day, Byron made additional purchases using the Dmitry Dzhumatov account. I'm probably not saying that right. 13. Team Conti's claims in this lawsuit against Byron arise from his fraudulent and deceptive conduct regarding the use of the Owen Morgan accounts. The Dmitry Dzhumatov I can't say that. The Dmitry account, the Team Conti website, and the products Byron purchased from the website. This court therefore has personal jurisdiction over Byron. 14. 15. Mecklenburg County is the proper venue pursuant to North Carolina General Statute Section 1-82. Factual background. 1. Overview of iRacing and setup shops. 16. Team Conti and RYCO are both examples of setup shops. In the simulated racing industry, iRacing. Remember, they have to write for the layperson. So apparently iRacing was determined to be more recognizable than sim racing. iRacing. 17. iRacing is the leading online racing simulation platform, which allows users to race virtual replicas of real-world race cars and digital versions of actual racetracks. The simulation emphasizes realistic physics and vehicle dynamics. iRacing is a large player base of competitive users. who often access the platform through elaborate simulated racing rigs in their homes, consisting of physical steering wheels, pedals, stick shifts, etc. 18. iRacing sponsors and hosts the officially licensed NASCAR competitive racing series titled the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, or eNASCAR. 19. A central feature of iRacing is the expansive car customization. Users can modify virtually all functional aspects of a vehicle's design to improve or modify a car's performance on a given track. These settings, collectively known as a setup, are very complex. For example, a user can modify parameters such as spring rates for the suspension of the vehicle, brake configurations, tire pressures, alignment angles, and ride heights. So, quick story before we move on. This term e-racing, it's hilarious to me on two different levels. First, it's just like no one calls it that. No one calls this e-racing. A couple of years ago, Matt and I, we pulled a prank, which based on something else I've heard, which I think is true, but I don't want to like tell the story because like I heard it from someone else, and like I like it seems true. I think it's true. But basically, me and Matt decided we're gonna do a prank. We're gonna send a fake cease and desist to some people on our team. We wanted to do this, and we had to write this as like a lawyer would who doesn't know anything about sim racing, and so the term we came up with and used was e-racing. We also determined in the midst of our prank that we actually wanted to send this like with physical mail. And then we determined rather quickly that actually, if we did that, even if it was a joke, it could technically actually be mail fraud, which in the United States is a felony. So we just emailed it and made it very clear that it was a joke. But whenever I see e-racing, I fucking laugh. First time I saw e-racing mentioned here, that's what I thought of. E-racing mail. Yeah, like I've gone through this, but I've not read it word for word. So I'm doing this to inform myself and the people. 20. Building an effective setup requires technical knowledge and considerable testing time, as optimal configurations depend on the specific track, weather conditions, and driver preferences. 21. The setup shops like Team Conti act as virtual car builders and provide their customers with race-ready vehicles that are expertly configured and tested for the designated eNASCAR racing track for that week. 2. Team Conti's background in business. 22. Team Conti was founded in 2023 by Michael Conti. Michael Conti is a decorated veteran in the e-racing community who won the eNASCAR iRacing Championship in 2014 when he was only 17 years old. 23. In 2019, Michael Conti joined Junior Motorsports, an e-racing team owned and operated by NASCAR Hall of Famer driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. Michael Conti competitively raced for Junior Motorsports from 2019 to his retirement in 2023. Well, remember, they're presenting this, it does look like that, obviously. But remember, they have to present it to someone who has no fucking clue what's going on. A potential jury that has, like, no fucking clue what any of this means. That's basically what this is for, I feel like. 24. After retiring from the professional e-racing scene, it's been great. Michael Conti founded Team Conti to stay connected with a community that he was passionate about and to share his expertise with the community. How do you race cars on your computer? 25. Team Conti employs Other industry veterans, including Nick Ottinger, 2020 eNASCAR champion, and Dustin Hall, a former crew chief for many other high-profile eNASCAR drivers, and leverages its expertise in racing and car design to deliver optimized vehicle setups and coaching to its customers to help them improve their performance in eNASCAR competitions. 26. Team Conti offers 3 subscription products, split between 3 eNASCAR racing classes. 1. Class A, Cup, built by Michael Conti. 2. Class B, O'Reilly, built by Nick Ottinger. And 3. Class C, Truck, built by Dustin Hall. 27. The eNASCAR competitive racing scene for each of these 3 competition classes rotates tracks and simulated weather conditions on a weekly basis. Each week, subscribers to Team Conti receive 1. A setup tailored for that week's track and conditions, and 2. Access to a 2-hour group test session in which the builder of the release car conducts a video stream demonstration drive of the car on the next week's course and provides coaching and tips. 28. Each setup file contains notes authored by the builder of that setup. Among other things, the notes include the builder's benchmark times for laps 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, and 30 on that track. These benchmark times give the end user an idea of the potential race times of the vehicle while driven by an expert driver. The notes further detail the exact weather condition parameters Team Conti used for the used for the benchmark testing, including track temperature and relative humidity. 29. Because the eNASCAR racing tracks rotate on Monday each week, Team Conti releases setups and conducts the group test sessions the day before on Sunday. This gives subscribers a chance to test out that week's car before actual races and to apply the coaching they receive through the group test session to that week's races. 30. Building, testing, and optimizing setups for each week's release is a significant time commitment for Team Conti's builders. Each weekly setup is the product of many hours of on-track testing, tweaking, and optimization for each of the builders. That's a question that's above my pay grade. I do not know the answer to that. Someone else might have a better answer. I've read the whole EULA, and I can't even tell you that, so I'm not sure. I have to reread the EULA. The iRacing EULA was updated, apparently. The other week, we had to re-accept the EULA. 3. Here we go. Team Conti begins an investigation of Byron. 31. Byron owns and operates a separate setup shop through RYCO and similarly releases weekly setups for eNASCAR Class A, Class B, and Class C each Sunday. Byron has been operating RYCO since 2021. 32. On Sunday, June 21st, 2026 at 4:38 p.m. Eastern Time, less than 30 minutes after Team Conti released its weekly setups, Byron contacted Michael Conti through Facebook Messenger stating, quote, "I had a customer reach out to me about our setups this week, indicating that there were some pretty strong similarities," end quote. Byron asked whether Andrew Dyson, a Team Conti ambassador driver who previously drove under the RYCO brand in 2025, had assisted with building Team Conti's setup that week. 33. Michael Conti responded to Byron, saying that Dyson had sent over a base vehicle a few weeks prior, one that Dyson had previously used, which Conti then substantially modified and tested for the setup release. 34. Michael Conti stated that he was unaware that Dyson had sent over a RYCO base car that he had from the previous year, and Byron responded, quote, "I do not believe this is something you did knowingly, as I think more of your character than that." 35. Michael Conti commented to Byron that he did not know how similar Team Conti's release setup was to RYCO's for that week because he did not have access to RYCO's release. Yeah, that's why that thing is there, to denote it was a misspelling and not whoever wrote this from the court fucking up. 36. Byron responded, "I've not seen it, but the person did offer to let me take a look to see it. I know that the shocks are basically identical to shocks I've ran since 2024 there. Cambers, springs, heights is all supposedly identical." 37. Notably, Team Conti regularly releases its setups and runs its group test sessions before RYCO each Sunday. Upon information to believe, RYCO had not even released its weekly setups to its subscribers by 4:38 p.m. that day. 38. Byron's story of a RYCO customer noticing the supposed similarities between Team Conti's release and RYCO's release from the previous year within 30 minutes of Team Conti's release was highly implausible. Instead, Byron's reach out to Michael Conti strongly suggested that Byron or another individual acting on behalf of RYCO had direct access to Team Conti setups. 39. Following this highly suspicious conversation, Team Conti began investigating Byron's potential access to Team Conti setups. Through that investigation, Team Conti discovered that Byron had been purchasing Team Conti setups through the fake Owen Morgan site accounts since December 2023. The facts Team Conti discovered in its investigation are detailed below. 4. Initial creation and purchases of the Owen Morgan accounts. Byron created the Owen Morgan account on Team Conti's website on December 18, 2023. Around that time, Byron created a separate Owen Morgan Discord account under the handle Owen Morgan 3. Thanks, Adam. Owen Morgan's Discord account profile shows that the account was created the same day it joined Team Conti Discord channel on November 29, 2023, just a few days after Team Conti's public launch. Just a lad who enjoys sim racing. On December 18th, 2023, Byron began purchasing Team Conti setups through the Owen Morgan site account. To avoid using his own billing address when purchasing Team Conti products, Byron routinely used prepaid debit cards with a fake billing address. The billing address on the Owen Morgan account is 323 First Avenue, Seattle, Washington, 98119. Per Google Maps Street View, this address is a parking lot in Seattle. To hide his real location in Wesley Chapel, Florida, Byron used virtual private networks, VPNs, when using the Team Conti website. For example, for the first purchase through the Owen Morgan account, Byron used a VPN location located in Germany. Shopify, the e-commerce platform Team Conti uses for sales, flagged the transaction as fraudulent because the IP address location, Germany, did not match the billing address, Seattle. It did not match the parking lot. There's some kind of discrepancy for some reason. Due to this discrepancy, Shopify automatically blocked many of Owen Morgan's initial purchases, and Byron reached out to Michael Conti through the Owen Morgan Discord account to clear the transactions. As an example, on January 7th, 2024, Byron, posing as Owen Morgan, contacted Michael Conti via Discord regarding continued access issues with his orders. Michael Conti responded, asking if Owen Morgan was using a VPN and explaining that Shopify was blocking the transactions because of the mismatch between the access address and the billing address. Owen Morgan responded, quote, "Yeah, most likely my company's network VPN. I conduct a lot of high-profile business, so my entire network at my home is connected through that. This statement was false and intended to mislead Michael Conti. Byron was using a VPN specifically for the purpose of hiding his identity as a direct competitor of Team Conti. Below is a screenshot of the January 7th, 2024 exchange. High-profile business. No, yeah, Flashlight, you see, he worked from home and it's a high-profile business, so it was his company VPN. It seems okay. Here's the screenshot of the exchange. Hello there, I hate to bother you so late on the East Coast. I am having the same issue with my order. Do you by chance know any way I can fix this for the future so I don't have to bother you with it? Hello, are you using a VPN? I just granted access, so you should be good now. This is what I'm getting from Shopify. And here it talks about his high-profile business. They're in filings, like, shit like this is always terrible, and I don't know why. After this exchange, Byron began only using Seattle-based VPNs to avoid further flags on his accounts. Byron consistently used Seattle-based VPNs from January 2024 to November 2025 and made numerous purchases of Team Conti's products during that period. 5. Owen Morgan's downloads from Blue Ridge, Georgia and Wesley Chapel, Florida. On November 16th and November 18th, 2025, the owner of the Owen Morgan account downloaded Team Conti setups from a Wesley Chapel, Florida IP address. What? They just put his IP there? That seems kind of fucked up. Well, it's public knowledge, so 65.35.248.137. The Wesley Chapel IP address going forward. According to a publicly available IP address checkers, the Wesley Chapel IP address is not associated with a VPN provider. In contrast, the prior Seattle-based IP numbers are VPN addresses. Byron resides in Wesley Chapel, Florida. That's it for that line. It's probably like if you're on like an ad hoc network, you technically like share an IP, so I wonder if it's probably that. On November 23rd, 2025, the owner of the Owen Morgan account downloaded 2 Team Conti setups from a Blue Ridge, Georgia IP address 184.60.240.153. or the Blue Ridge IP address. The Blue Ridge IP address is not associated with a VPN provider. Logs of the November 16th, November 18th, and November 23rd downloads are shown in the screenshot below. There are the setups. It was an Auto Club setup for B-Car, for trucks, 2008 Atlanta. 2008 Atlanta for the B-Car, and then Auto Club for the trucks. 2 of them were downloaded on Safari from this phone, and 2 were downloaded from Microsoft Edge. Per Byron's and Amanda Byron's, presumably Byron's wife. You know, you're going out of your way to find the IP addresses. You're not going to go out of your way to determine, oh, that must be his wife. We're not going to... Whatever. Social media posts on November 22nd, 2025, copy below. Byron was vacationing in Blue Ridge, Georgia. On the exact date, the owner of the Owen Morgan account accessed setups from Blue Ridge, Georgia. Made it to the mountains. Perfect place to spend Thanksgiving week. Our view for the next week. Thanksgiving in the mountains. Upon information and belief, Byron downloaded Team Conti setups on November 23rd, 2025, Sunday, while he was on vacation in Blue Ridge because he needed the setups for RYCO's releases that same day. On November 29th, 2025, Amanda Byron posted, "Back home from the trip to the mountains," and tagged Byron in that post. A screenshot of that post is below. "Back home from the trip to the mountains. We had such an amazing time with family and beautiful sights." Double exclamation point. On November 30th, 2025, the next Sunday, and the day after the Byron family returned from Blue Ridge to Florida, the Owen Morgan account downloaded Team Conti setups through an IP address located in Orlando, Florida, about an hour away from Wesley Chapel, Florida. A screenshot of the log for that download is copied below. There's a truck setup download for Vegas. Other than the two downloads on November 23rd, 2025, the user of the Owen Morgan account has not used an IP address linked to Blue Ridge, Georgia. According to the most recent 2020 census, Blue Ridge is a mountain town in Georgia with a population of 1,253. The chances of a Wesley Chapel resident other than Byron causing Owen Morgan's downloads of Team Conti setups from Blue Ridge on the exact days Byron was vacationing in Blue Ridge and then returned to Florida on the same time frame are minuscule. Since January 2026, the owner of the Owen Morgan accounts has used the Wesley Chapel IP address 65.35.248.137 to download Team Conti setups on at least the following dates: January 19th, January 26th, February 3rd, March 11th, March 12th, March 15th, March 18th, March 19th, May 13th, May 15th, June 14th, July 5th, July 11th, and July 19th. Throughout that period, the Owen Morgan account owner would also use various Seattle IP addresses. Those Seattle addresses varied from session to session, consistent with VPN use, while the Wesley Chapel IP address remained consistent throughout. The Wesley Chapel IP address is associated with Charter Communications, and upon information and belief, is registered to Byron's home internet service. Upon information and belief, after successfully escaping Team Conti's detection for 2 years, Byron became less vigilant with hiding his activity through VPNs after November 2025. 6. Owen Morgan / Byron negotiates a discount of Team Conti's products in June 2026. I need some water. Owen Morgan negotiates a discount. In fact, Byron became so bold in his use of the Owen Morgan account that on June 13th, 2026, he used an Owen Morgan email address, morganowen243@gmail.com, to negotiate a discount on a Team Conti quarterly subscription with Michael Conti. In that email, Owen Morgan claimed, quote, "I am currently on a fixed income and was curious if you were able to offer a one-time courtesy 20% off code if I was to buy the A and B open quarterly passes. I have been able to set aside about $200 total for this next season." Michael Conti responded to that email, offering a 15% discount to $202.30. Owen Morgan responded claiming that, quote, Going from a full-time income to a fixed income has been a huge adjustment for me. End quote. And that he only had, quote, $200 on my payment card saved up, end quote, to purchase setups. In other words, according to Owen Morgan, moving to a fixed income meant that he could only afford $200 and not $202.30. The extra $2.30 was apparently too much. Upon information and belief, Byron had already purchased a $200 prepaid card to purchase the quarterly subscription. And when the quarterly subscription ended up being more than that amount, he reached out using a fake Owen Morgan email account to negotiate the price under the $200 limit. Notably, despite supposedly changing to a, quote, fixed income, end quote, by 2026, Owen Morgan continued to use various VPNs when downloading Team Conti's product. This contradicted his prior claims in December 2023 that his whole house was connected to his company's network VPN, which he used for, quote, high-profile business, end quote. In reliance upon Byron's misstatements, an omission of his actual identity, Team Conti granted an additional discount to bring the total below $200. So I'll say this being not a lawyer, but just what I know about civil lawsuits. Most of, like, even in like criminal court, like most cases don't go to trial. Like 98% of criminal cases where it's a guilty verdict, it's a pled guilty verdict. Like a 2% of cases where there's a guilty verdict, those 2% are trials. So, like in a criminal court, the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. So, like, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone committed an offense. So, if it's like murder or like something like that. So, civil court is not the same standard. You don't have to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. I forget like the actual definition, but basically, like more likely than not is like kind of a similar, is like kind of what it can be for civil court, but not exactly. So when it comes to a civil court case, like both sides usually don't want to go to trial because they have no fucking clue what a jury is going to do. A jury might think the whole case is stupid, like this maybe, like the case by itself is stupid. As we're reading though, you know, there is a guy on one side that like is clearly in the wrong, but is a jury gonna care, right? It was why I was honestly shocked that the 2311 case actually went to jury trial, civil jury trial, but then they settled because you don't like with trial and cases, like there's discovery, like things get opened up, you have to testify, right? Like that opens up a whole can of worms, and it's a game of chicken. Civil cases most of the time, it's a game of chicken of like, will it actually go to a trial? A judge can also say like, you need to settle. Like the judge in the 2311 case, wasn't he just basically like, I think you should settle, like multiple times, right? Judges will discourage things going to trial a lot when it comes to civil court cases because it could just be like a waste of time and therefore a waste of money and resources. But I'm kind of with you, Shane, what you said earlier. I think they know it probably won't go to trial. I think they're kind of trying to prove a point. But again, it's kind of like it's strategic of like, do you want to like test that? Because a lawyer will always say, yeah, we're willing to go to trial. But that's just what they're saying, right? So yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen here. But like in theory, like a civil case can effectively have like a 50-50 ruling, right? Like there might not be a winner per se, right? Like maybe everyone loses. A really good example, for example, is so the USFL sued the NFL. This is back in the 80s. The USFL is like a competitor league to the NFL. They're offering a ton of money to college players to play with them and not go to the NFL. The USFL sued the NFL, and it went to civil court. It went to jury trial in civil court, and the USFL won. The judge said, yes, the NFL, they're suing them for under antitrust. They said the NFL is a monopoly. And the judge said, yeah, you are correct. You have proven the NFL is a monopoly. The damages, though, they couldn't prove damages, though, so the USFL only got like $1. They literally got $1, and then it was tripled under antitrust law. It might have been a little bit more than that, but like, yeah, the damages awarded to the USFL were like literally single digit. So, long-winded answer, but that's why it can be dangerous to go to trial with these things. All right, back to this amazing lawsuit. Well, you'd have to. There's something like criminal going on here. Like I don't know what criminal, like what crime has been committed other than. Like being an asshole is not a crime. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, right? But like, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm struggling to find what could be like a criminal charge here. Not anything civil, but I don't know. Maybe someone will get criminal charges next year for something completely different. I don't know. I don't think this is baseless because the whole thing is he did legitimately violate terms of service. Right? Like if you go into a business with somebody, you agree to their terms. Like one of the terms was like, we have the right to sue you in Mecklenburg County Court, basically. The case would be held here. Like he lied twice about his identity. He was Owen Morgan and Dmitry Dzhumatov, or whatever the name was. So like it's a terms of service thing. That's why this lawsuit happened. Following Byron's suspicious comments to Michael Conti the week after on June 21st, the suspicious exchange with Owen Morgan on June 13th triggered a further review of the Owen Morgan accounts on the Team Conti website, leading to the discovery of the facts contained in this complaint. Seven, Owen Morgan's downloads closely correspond with Byron's logins on iRacing. Since Team Conti began actively investigating links between Byron and the Owen Morgan accounts, on several occasions, Byron logged onto his iRacing platform less than 3 minutes after Owen Morgan downloaded the setups. For example, on June 28, 2026, Byron logged into iRacing at 3:39 p.m., and Owen Morgan downloaded a weekly setup pack using a Seattle-based VPN address at 3:40 p.m. Below are screenshots showing the nearly identical timing of the download and Byron's iRacing login on June 28th. Well, I think, like, yeah, like, I don't have an answer as to, I don't think it's a trade secret, per se. But again, I'm like, I can't say that to you confidently either, because I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand It feels like to me like it's not per se, but I can't give you an argument for why. Similarly, on July 12th, 2026, another Sunday, the Owen Morgan account downloaded a weekly setup at 4:30 p.m. shortly after Team Conti released it. Byron logged onto his iRacing account 2 minutes later at 4:32 p.m. Screenshots of these examples are below. As shown on the below screenshots on August 2nd, 2026, a Sunday, the Owen Morgan account downloaded the weekly setups at 2:21 p.m. Byron logged into iRacing at 2:20 p.m. The several instances of near identical timings of logins and downloads, coupled with the Owen Morgan account's regular access of downloads from Wesley Chapel, Florida, and Owen Morgan's downloads from Blue Ridge, Georgia on the exact day Byron is known to have been vacationing there makes it virtually impossible that anyone else other than Byron is behind the Owen Morgan account. Oh yeah, I'm not doubting it. I'm just... a law is a law. I have to go like a grand jury and then on all that. I think that's the part I'm not sure if you could convince a... I mean, I'd say like it's a hard thing to convince a grand jury. Like there's a famous saying, a grand jury could indict a ham sandwich, but if it goes to the Supreme Court, well, if it set up shot beef before the court. It's a question I don't know the answer to, Blair. I'm not sure. Okay, so virtually impossible that Byron's behind the Owen Morgan account. Rather, Owen Morgan is a fake identity Byron created for the purpose of secretly buying Team Conti's products to competitively benefit RYCO. And that's basically why, yeah, Porsche, I felt that, like, if there's, like, a turning point on, like, someday down the road, iRacing just literally becomes all fixed. Like, this might be where it all started. Maybe not the reason, but yeah. 8. RYCO insider and customer corroborate that RYCO is stealing Team Conti setups. Additional discovery is necessary to determine the full extent of Byron's misappropriation of Team Conti's products, as, unlike Byron, Team Conti does not have direct access to RYCO's weekly release. Are we gonna... No, guys. Free setups. Free setups, everybody. They're gonna come out in Discovery. We're gonna have our first open source setup shop. Please go to trial. I want free sets. This is how I'm going to make the Coke series. Oh, Lord. Brendan Lichtenberg, 2029 Coke Series driver. 2027, 2028. Whenever this trial happens, it's not going to happen, but it would be very funny. Free setups for everybody. Okay, where were we? Nonetheless, Byron's reliance on Team Conti's weekly releases is likely substantial. On at least 2 occasions, October 12th, 2025, November 2nd, 2025, both Sundays, Team Conti delayed its setup releases for that week. On both occasions, Owen Morgan, aka Byron, affirmatively reached out to Michael Conti via email to ask when those releases would be happening. Since Team Conti began investigating the circumstances regarding Byron's fraudulent purchases, two separate sources, a current RYCO driver and a RYCO customer. So we have the informant, and then we just have a customer, which you'll see here why they're unnamed, obviously, in a moment, have been separately corroborated that Byron is, at the very least, heavily leveraging Team Conti setups in his own releases. Chris, thank you for the 56 months and 2 years at tier 2. Thank you. Hope you're doing better. I haven't asked you about that in a little bit. I presume you're doing okay, but I want this to go to trial, man. I want free setups. They're gonna come out in Discovery. So I skimmed through it. I missed that part. I fucking missed that part, man. I did not realize they were gonna try and get them to come out in Discovery. the RYCO sets. Welcome to America, Blair, where we can sue each other over setups. Oh, 83. In July 2026, a driver for RYCO, the informant, reached out to Michael Conti of his own volition and informed him that he suspected Byron was stealing Conti setups for RYCO. In particular, the informant stated that, and we'll get to that in a moment. So the RYCO customer, there's a footnote here. Team Conti has not informed either individual about its intention to file this lawsuit in the public record and has therefore omitted the individual's names from this complaint to respect their privacy. Copy, Chris. See you in a bit, perhaps. All right. In particular, the informant stated that A, Byron had made direct statements to his in-house team that showed he had or that he intended to steal Team Conti setups, at least for certain race classes. B, that Byron had often had direct knowledge of Team Conti's benchmark test results, including the exact testing parameters such as track temperature, which were only included in Team Conti's weekly setup releases, and the final setups Byron would release to his in-house drivers for testing each Sunday afternoon for final test before public release would often be completely different from the RYCO setup the in-house team had been testing all week, often using, quote, totally different steering pinions, end quote, suggesting that the setup had been generated from a different base setup and not simply iterated upon from the prior version. Likewise, on August 9, 2026, a current RYCO customer informed Team Conti's ambassador, Zach Rinker, that on RYCO's weekly group test sessions, Byron regularly made statements that the RYCO drivers needed to beat Team Conti's benchmark times, quote, because this is what Conti was running, end quote. The customer further stated that, quote, during the sessions, it almost seemed like Byron would be watching you guys, end quote, referring to Team Conti's own group sessions. Following the investigation, Team Conti terminated Owen Morgan's account access on August 16, 2026, and sent Owen Morgan an email informing him that his use of the site and products were in violation of Team Conti's terms of service. Team Conti notified the informant that it had terminated the accounts, and the informant confirmed that for the RYCO test session that day, Byron did not have benchmark times, and told his team that they were, quote, just trying to maximize speeds, end quote. Running test laps on Conti sets. Upon information and belief, the reason Byron did not have benchmark times is because he was not able to access Team Conti's setups that day, like usual, to use Team Conti's benchmark times as his own. Undeterred, Byron proceeded to create another fake account to make purchases from Team Conti. On August 18, 2026, an individual supposedly under the name of Dmitry Dzhumatov created a Team Conti account and attempted to make a purchase of Team Conti's Class A and Class B setups for that week around 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Dmitry Dzhumatov used a prepaid debit card and a VPN IP address from New York. Shopify's automatic fraud detector declined the transaction several times as, quote, fraud suspected, end quote. The system eventually allowed the transaction around 2:35 p.m., and Dzhumatov immediately downloaded both products. Byron logged into iRacing at 2:42 p.m. after being inactive all morning. Below are screenshots showing the correlated timing on the Dzhumatov downloads with Byron's iRacing login. This was a B car setup at Richmond and an A car setup at New Hampshire. Allegedly downloaded from New York, New York. According to the informant, at 2:52 p.m., 15 minutes after Dzhumatov downloaded the two setups, Byron sent two new setups to the RYCO in-house team. Per the informant, both of the new setups were completely different from the version of the RYCO drivers had been previously testing. Water time. This shit is unreal, man. Upon information and belief, Dmitry Dzhumatov was a second alias Byron had created after losing access to the Owen Morgan accounts. I know, right? Claims for relief. First claim. Fraud-Affirmative Misrepresentation. The foregoing allegations are incorporated herein by reference. Beginning in or around December 2023 and continuing through August 2026, Byron made the following material false representations of fact to Team Conti, each made knowingly and with the intent to deceive. Owen's a good friend of mine. This is all witch hunts. How far are we? Well, we're 10 pages away from finishing this. We're at the claims for relief, so we're at the damages part that they want. Okay, so made knowingly and with the intent to deceive. A. Byron created a fictitious account on Team Conti's website under the alias Owen Morgan using the email address morganowen243@gmail.com and a corresponding Discord account under the handle OwenMorgan3, created November 29th, 2023. By establishing and maintaining this false identity, Byron affirmatively represented to Team Conti that it was transacting business with an individual named Owen Morgan, a bona fide, non-competitor customer, when in fact Byron is a direct competitor who owns and operates RYCO, a competing iRacing setup shop. Lith, thanks for the raid. We're nearly through the lawsuit. We're at the juicy bits. Hope your stream was good. I skimmed through this lawsuit, but I'm reading it word for word for the public. Where are we at again? Yeah, this was filed. It was filed in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, like 2 days ago. Yes, this is a real lawsuit. It is, and honestly, it's not. I don't think this is baseless. This lawsuit is honestly not baseless, based on everything I've read. And I never thought it was baseless. I want to say that right away, but it's very, very obvious that, like, this is so bad. Okay, with a defamation case, but fuck it, bring it on. I'm reading what's true. do it. I'm reading a legal filing. What's he gonna do about it? Where were we? B. Byron used a fake billing address, 323 First Avenue, Seattle, Washington, 98119, in connection with his purchases of Team Conti subscription products. Upon information and belief, this address corresponds to a parking lot and was used to conceal Byron's true residence in Wesley Chapel, Florida. On January 7th, 2024, after Shopify flagged a transaction from the Owen Morgan account as potentially fraudulent due to a geographic mismatch between a German VPN IP address and the Seattle billing address, Byron, posing as Owen Morgan, contacted Michael Conti on Discord. When Michael Conti asked whether Owen Morgan was using a VPN, Byron responded, quote, "Yeah, most likely my company's network VPN. I conduct a lot of high-profile business, so my entire network in my home is connected through that." End quote. This statement was false. Byron was not using a corporate VPN for, quote, high-profile business, end quote, for a corporate job. He was using a VPN to conceal his identity as a direct competitor purchasing Team Conti products. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, but he's not being sued for being a dick. He's sued for being violating terms of service, basically. And fraud, apparently. Based on using two fake accounts, but but it certainly sounds like this guy is an asshole. On June 13th, 2026. Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, you guys should all take a look at that. That was I think that guy needs to understand what slander and libel is, and the level it takes to actually convict someone of slander and libel is almost impossible in the United States. It's really hard to do. Like, I can say Kenneth Byron is an asshole. Is there any actual malice by me saying I think he's an asshole? Is calling him an asshole more damaging, or is the lawsuit more damaging? Right. You can't just sue someone for saying they're someone's an asshole, right? But yeah. Well, you might not hear them much longer, Kaito. Depending on what happens here. Here we go. On June 13, 2026, Byron, using the Owen Morgan email address, morganowen243@gmail.com, contacted Team Conti to negotiate a discount on a quarterly subscription. In that email, Byron falsely stated, quote, "I'm currently on a fixed income and was curious if you were able to offer a one-time courtesy 20% off code if I was to buy the A/B Open quarterly passes. I have been able to set aside about $200 total for this next season," end quote. When Team Conti offered a 15% discount to $202.30, Byron further wrote, quote, "Going from a full-time income to a fixed income has been a huge adjustment for me," and that he only had, quote, $200 on my payment card saved up. These statements were false. Byron is not on a fixed income. Rather, upon information and belief, he had already purchased a $200 prepaid card and fabricated a false financial hardship to lower the price to fit that card's limit. On June 21st, 2026, less than 30 minutes after Team Conti released its weekly setups, Byron messaged Michael Conti on Facebook Messenger and stated, in pertinent part, quote, I've not seen it, but the person did offer to let me take a look to see it. I know that the shocks are basically identical to shocks I've ran since 2024 there. Cambers, springs, heights is all supposedly identical. Yeah, so this back half, if you weren't here for the first half, this back half here does basically recaps the first half of this filing. This statement that Byron had not seen Team Conti setup was false. He had regularly been downloading and using Team Conti setups for nearly 2.5 years. Rather, this contrived excuse that a customer had offered to let him see Team Conti setups was intended to mislead Team Conti that Byron was not otherwise accessing Team Conti setups. I mean, I'll put it this way, Lith. Right? Like, it's a civil case filing. A lawyer has to do it. It says enough that, I mean, lawyers can do all kinds of lawsuits, but this isn't some, like, big-time lawyer, right? Like, he wouldn't do this if he didn't feel like, one, if he got paid by the people doing it, but, like, there's no amount of money you can pay someone to write a frivolous lawsuit most of the time. Missed anything good? I think you're here for that they wanted to have setups open in Discovery. I don't think there's... What else has there been? It feels like everything has been good. Were we at F? On August 17, 2026, after Team Conti terminated his access to the Owen Morgan account, Byron created another fictitious account on Team Conti's website under the name Dmitry Dzhumatov and made another purchase from Team Conti under false pretenses. Each of the foregoing representations was false when made. Byron knew each representation was false at the time he made it, or made each representation recklessly and without regard to its truth or falsity. Byron knew that Team Conti would never agree to sell its product to a direct competitor. Therefore, Byron went through extraordinary lengths to conceal his access. This common sense in the setup industry and is innocuous, I don't know how to even say that word, to one NASCAR team not allowing another NASCAR team to, quote, peek under the hood, end quote, at the racing configurations before a race. Team Conti's terms of service contain a competitor purchase prohibition. A nodulus, there we go, thank you. No player. Hang on. I need to take a break. We're in an ad break right now anyway. This shit's unbelievable. No, I shouldn't say it's unbelievable. Because I don't think they're lying. They're obviously not lying. They've taken the time to get receipts, man, and IP addresses. Like, this is so obvious. It's... I understand the other guy's reputations kind of precede him, but, like, because I'm not in that sphere, I've never really even heard much about it. But yeah, this... this... like... This guy's fucked. This actually went to trial. Well, it won't go to trial for the reasons I believe. But, right? Because they're never going to take a chance with the jury. Keep in mind, like a jury's going to have to sit through this and think, is this right? The jury decides damages, and maybe they think there's no proof of damage. But that's the reason you have a trial. So, I forgot where we stopped. Thank you for the follow. I think we were at 97. Or we just finished 97. Exhibit A, Twitch /Brendan Iverst R. swear to God if I end up as a witness in this trial by some form. Team Conti's terms of service contain a, quote, competitor purchase prohibition, end quote, which prohibits, quote, individuals who own, operate, are employed by, or are contracted by any business, organization, or individual that provides iRacing sim racing setup services, performance coaching, or setup products in support of iRacing's NASCAR license series from purchasing or using Team Conti's products. Discovery would be hilarious. I still don't think it'll go to trial, though. Not a lawyer, just spitballing. That's my guess. It just doesn't go to trial. 98. Indeed, RYCO's own terms of services include a similar provision. Purchases made by competitors or representatives of competing setup providers are strictly prohibited, emphasis in original. Team Conti reasonably relied upon Byron's false representations. Team Conti had no reason to believe that Owen Morgan was not a legitimate non-competitor customer. In fact, Byron took affirmative ongoing steps, including use of VPNs, prepaid debit cards, fake billing address, and direct false statements specifically designed to prevent Team Conti from discovering that Byron was the true purchaser. But for Byron's fraud, Team Conti would have never have sold its products to the Owen Morgan account, would have never have given Owen Morgan access to group test sessions, and would never have provided any discount to Byron. Though Team Conti quickly flagged the Dmitry Dzhumatov account as suspicious on August 17, 2026. Keep in mind, like, this has all happened in the past couple days. Today's the 21st of August. This is 4 days ago. The filing was on Thursday, the 19th. Or it might have been like the day before. The 19th was when everyone actually discovered it. There's a woman who is the law reporter for a news agency in North Carolina who she just retweets like whatever comes to court. So she made a tweet about this case and fucking probably one of her most popular tweets. So we read that. 102. As a direct and proximate result of Byron's fraud, Team Conti has suffered damages, including, but not limited to, the loss of its proprietary and competitively sensitive setup data to a direct competitor, the competitive harm caused by RYCO's use of or benefit from Team Conti setups in group test sessions, lost profits, and damage to its business reputation and goodwill. Moreover, Byron has been unjustly enriched through his fraudulent access to Team Conti setup products. Upon information belief, after fraudulently procuring Team Conti setups, Byron has sold substantively identical setups under the RYCO brand and incorporated feedback from Team Conti's group test sessions into RYCO's test sessions. RYCO unfairly benefits from Byron's misuse of Team Conti setups. When its ambassador racers win races, RYCO gets business from customers that are unaware that RYCO's products are built on or using Team Conti's products. Under principles of equity, Byron should be forced to disgorge any sales he has made through rebranded sales of Team Conti's setups, or to the extent he incorporated the setups into RYCO's own releases. Disgorge. I've never seen that word before. Byron's conduct was willful, malicious, and carried out with wanton disregard for Team Conti's rights. Byron acted deliberately over a period of exceeding 2 years, employed sophisticated methods of deception. That's giving him too much credit. Sophisticated methods. And used the fruits of his fraud to benefit his competing business at Team Conti's direct expense. Byron's intentional and extensive misconduct warrants an award of punitive damages. Team Conti is entitled to a judgment against Byron for compensatory damages, disgorgement of ill-gotten profits, and punitive damages in an amount to be proven at trial, but exceeding $25,000. Second claim, fraud by omission. The foregoing allegations are incorporated herein by reference. Byron had a duty to disclose his true identity and competitive relationship with Team Conti when making purchases from the site. Byron's affirmative misrepresentations, creating a fictitious identity, using a fake billing address, falsely explaining his VPN use, fabricating financial hardship, and denying access to Team Conti's setups gave rise to a duty to disclose the full truth, including his identity and competitive purpose. Having chosen to speak, Byron was obligated to speak fully and not in a misleading manner. This is why they're offering $5,000 lifetime passes at RYCO. Please tell me that's not recent, is it? I'm aware like they would offer that stuff in the past, but did they actually just do that? Okay. Yeah, like I knew it was real. I was wondering if it was recent. Man, I feel bad for those 5 people. When you talk to Matt Pavelski, ask him about setup shops, and he will write you a treatise. God, I feel bad for those people, honestly. Byron knew that Team Conti would never sell him directly and that Team Conti was unaware of his true identity. Because Byron knew of a material defect in the transactions with Team Conti, he owed a duty to Team Conti to disclose his identity. Despite having a duty to disclose and numerous opportunities to do so in his interactions with Team Conti for more than 2 years, Byron intentionally concealed and failed to disclose that he, not a person named Owen Morgan, was the actual purchaser and user of Team Conti's products. These omissions were material, as Team Conti would not have otherwise sold its product to Owen Morgan or Byron if it had known the truth. Byron similarly fraudulently admitted his identity when using the Dmitry Dzhumatov account to make purchases on August 17, 2026. Byron intentionally concealed the foregoing material facts with the intent to deceive Team Conti and induce Team Conti to sell its proprietary products to Byron. Byron's concealment was not inadvertent. Rather, it was the product of a deliberate, sustained scheme to deceive involving the creation of a false identity, use of VPNs to mask his location, use of prepaid debit cards with a fake billing address, and direct false statements to deflect suspicion. Team Conti reasonably relied upon Byron's concealment and omissions. But for Byron's concealment and omissions, Team Conti would never have sold its products to Byron and would never have given Byron access to group test sessions. As a direct and proximate result of Byron's fraudulent concealment and omissions, Team Conti has suffered damages, including but not limited to the loss of its proprietary and competitively sensitive set of data to a direct competitor, the competitive harm caused by RYCO's use of or benefit from Team Conti setups and group test sessions, lost profits, and damage to its business reputation and goodwill. Under principles of equity, Byron should be forced to disgorge any profits he has made through rebranded sales of Team Conti setups or to the extent he incorporated the setups into RYCO's own releases. Byron's conduct was willful, malicious, and carried out with wanton disregard for Team Conti's rights. Byron acted deliberately over a period exceeding 2 years, employed increasingly sophisticated methods of deception, and used the fruits of his fraud to benefit his competing business at Team Conti's direct expense. Byron's intentional and extensive misconduct warrants an award of punitive damages. Team Conti is entitled to a judgment against Byron for compensatory damages, disgorgement of all ill-gotten profits, and punitive damages in an amount to be proven at trial, but exceeding $25,000. Third claim. Unfair and deceptive trade practices pursuant to the North Carolina General Statute Section 75-1.1. The foregoing allegations are incorporated herein by reference. As detailed above, sorry it's repetitive, but we must know everything. As detailed above, Byron engaged in misleading and deceptive trade practices to induce Team Conti to sell its proprietary products to a direct competitor, including but not limited to A. Creating and maintaining the fictitious Owen Morgan identity, including a fake website account, a fake Discord account, and a fake email address, for the purpose of disguising his purchases of Team Conti's products and concealing his status as a direct competitor. Making false statements to Team Conti regarding his identity, his use of a VPN, January 7th, 2024 Discord communication claiming a corporate VPN for, quote, high-profile business. His financial circumstances, June 13th, 2026 emails falsely claiming fixed income and limited funds. And his access to Team Conti setups, June 21st, 2026 messenger statement that he had, quote, not seen Team Conti setup while simultaneously describing its contents in detail. Yeah, that's the hilarious part to me too. C. Using prepaid Visa debit cards with a fabricated billing address 323 First Avenue, Seattle, Washington 98119, a parking lot, to conceal his true identity and evade detection, thereby deceiving Team Conti into processing transactions they would otherwise have refused. Using VPN services, initially a German VPN, then Seattle-based VPNs, specifically to mask his true geographic location, Wesley Chapel, Florida, and prevent Team Conti from discovering his identity. Negotiating and obtaining a discount on a Team Conti quarterly subscription through false pretenses, the fixed income fabrication, thereby inducing Team Conti to provide its products at a reduced price to a direct competitor. Concealing his identity, his operation of RYCO, and his competitive purpose from Team Conti throughout the entire course of dealing from December 2023 to at least August 2026, thereby depriving Team Conti of the ability to make informed decisions about whether to sell its proprietary products to Byron. Byron's deceptive actions and omissions, detailed above, had the tendency and capacity to mislead Team Conti into believing that Owen Morgan was a legitimate non-competitor customer, and that Team Conti was transacting with an individual who had no competitive motive to obtain its proprietary setup data. Byron's conduct had a tendency and capacity to mislead consumers in North Carolina. RYCO gets business from customers that are unaware that RYCO's products are built on or using Team Conti's products. Team Conti was misled by Byron's deceptive conduct, as it allowed Owen Morgan to purchase its products for over 2 years. Byron's misconduct was in or affecting commerce in North Carolina. Team Conti is a North Carolina limited liability company with its principal place of business in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. Team Conti sells its setup products through its website to customers, including those in North Carolina. Byron purposely directed his deceptive conduct at a North Carolina business, created an account on a North Carolina company's website, accepted terms of service, consented to the exclusive jurisdiction of North Carolina courts, and purchased products and services offered in North Carolina commerce. Moreover, Byron's competing business, RYCO, competes with Team Conti in the same market for iRacing setup products, directly affecting Team Conti's North Carolina business operations. As a direct and proximate result of Byron's deceptive and misleading conduct, Team Conti has suffered damages, including but not limited to the loss of its proprietary and competitively sensitive setup data to a direct competitor, the competitive harm caused by RYCO's use of or benefit from Team Conti setups, lost profits, and damage to its business reputation and goodwill. Moreover, Byron has been unjustly enriched through his fraudulent access to Team Conti setup products. Upon information and belief, after fraudulently procuring Team Conti setups, Byron has sold substantively identical setups under the RYCO brand for inflated prices. Byron's misconduct constitutes unfair and deceptive trade practices under North Carolina General Statute Section 75-1.1. Team Conti is entitled to a judgment against Byron for compensatory damages, disgorgement of ill-gotten profits, and treble damages under Section 75-16 in an amount to be proven at trial but exceeding $25,000 pursuant to North Carolina General Statute Section 75-16.1. Team Conti is also entitled to recover its attorney's fees from Byron. So there's 3 different counts. They're asking for damages of $25,000 plus for each. But if a jury found them that this was true, whatever damage they award are triple. So even if they award the minimum that they're seeking, thank you for the follow, even if it's the minimum they're seeking, that's $75,000. Prayer for relief. This is not what you think it means, by the way. This is like a lawyer thing, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's literal prayer. But it is North Carolina, so maybe it is. I'm not sure. I don't think it's that. Prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff Team Conti LLC respectfully prays the court for the following relief. Pray for this filing to end. 1. For a judgment against defendant Kenneth Byron doing business as RYCOmotorsports.com and RYCOmotorsports.com/iRacing Setup Shop on plaintiff's first claim for relief, fraud by affirmative representation, second claim for relief, fraud by omission, and third claim for relief, unfair and deceptive trade practices. That's that third one is really serious, actually. Because that one actually involves substantive state law. 2. For compensatory damages in an amount to be determined at trial but exceeding $25,000. For the disgorgement of all ill-gotten profits or benefits that the defendant has received as a result of his fraudulent and deceptive practices. For injunctive relief prohibiting defendant from using further aliases to purchase Team Conti's products. For punitive damages against defendant in an amount sufficient to punish defendant for his willful, malicious, and wanton conduct and to deter similar conduct in the future. 6. For treble damages pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Section 75-16. For reasonable attorney's fees and costs pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Section 75-16.1 and any other applicable law. For pre-judgment and post-judgment interest at the legal rates. For injunctive and equitable relief to the extent available, barring defendant Byron and RYCOmotorsports.com/iRacing Setup Shop from using, copying, distributing, selling, or disclosing any Team Conti setups or proprietary data obtained through the Owen Morgan accounts or any other false identity, and requiring the destruction or return of all copies thereof. For the cost of this action to be taxed against defendant, and for such other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper. Demand for jury trial. Plaintiff Team Conti LLC demands a trial by jury on all issues so triable. This the 18th day of August, 2026. Signed, Kevin Y. Zhao, North Carolina State Bar number 53680. Maynard Nexon, PC, 227 West Trade Street, suit 2300, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28202. Email kzhao@maynardnexon.com, phone number 704-338-5362. Attorney for Plaintiff Team Conti LLC. And that, my friends, was the real civil case of Team Conti LLC v. Kenneth Byron and RYCO Motorsports.com / RYCO Motorsports.com / iRacing Setup Shop.